The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
All right, Kat, thanks so much. Making news around the state this morning, police in Sacramento have announced a third arrest in connection to a mass shooting on Sunday that took the lives of 6 people and left 12 others wounded. 31-year-old Davion Dawson was charged with illegal possession of a firearm, but police say they don't believe his gun was used in the shooting. The other 2 suspects are brothers, Dandre and Smiley Martin. Sacramento police say Smiley Martin is still at the hospital recovering, but he is in their custody, and once he is healthy enough, they say he will be booked into the main jail.
At this point, we believe that DeAndre and Smiley were together when this shooting occurred.
Police say they're reviewing videos sent to them and posted on social media to see what role the Martin brothers may have played in the violence. The video that appears to be on Smiley's Facebook page shows him hanging out with someone who closely resembles one of the victims who was killed. The 2 also appear to be showing their affiliation to a gang, which is something police say they're still looking into.
State lawmakers in the Senate Judiciary Committee last night approved a bill that will allow private citizens to sue makers and sellers of illegal assault weapons and ghost guns. The bill, one of many Democrats hope to push through the Capitol this year. A group of lawmakers and activists yesterday urged the legislature to support their efforts in the wake of the mass shooting that happened steps away from the state capitol. Gun groups and legal gun owners in opposition. Democrats said they'll support, but have concerns with the law being modeled after Texas's abortion law.
It is my hope and desire that ultimately this bill actually not proceed because the Texas law is found to be wrong, unconstitutional, and crazy. This is sort of comes under the monkey see, monkey do rubric.
Other tools the legislature will consider include efforts to allow private citizens, local governments, and the state attorney general to sue gun makers and sellers, restricting ghost guns, and banning the marketing of certain weapons to children. These proposals are still in the earliest stages of the legislative process, with still many hurdles and debate ahead.
We are learning more about an intense fire at a downtown Bakersfield hotel yesterday. This morning, dozens of people are without a roof over their heads after the blaze scorched the Hart Hotel. 30 people escaped with their lives from the Hart Hotel in downtown Bakersfield.
I was laying down asleep, and then I hear fire, everybody starts rushing people out, and people start saving people from upstairs and bringing people out. They did have the emergency exit open, so everybody was able to, exit out of there.
A few residents say the manager and his family rushed into action to help save the older tenants. The Hart Hotel was last inspected and passed by BFD less than a month ago. BFD says the building was not required to have a sprinkler system, but did have working smoke alarms. The Hart Hotel shares a wall with the Mission Hotel. The Mission Hotel was closed about 2 years ago for the same reason, a fire. BFD says the damage to Hart Hotel could be extensive.
So they had multiple showers running on the 3rd floor, and when they had evacuated the structure, they left the showers going. Those also overflowed and flooded into the 3rd floor. So between our water and the water from the building itself, there could be extensive water damage.
The hotel put up its tenants in a motel after the fire, but now tenants who paid $550 a month say they are confused, displaced, and desperately looking for somewhere to go. It is not known what started the blaze. No one was hurt.
17 court watch this morning, and in the 3rd day of trial will begin in the case against Matthew Queen this morning. Queen faces 35 charges, among them the torture and murder of Micah Holsenbake, part of a group who's become known as the Bakersfield Three. Yesterday continued with the cross-examination of witness Megan Farmer, who was friends with Bailey Despot. Queen is charged with kidnapping Farmer. In January 2018, Farmer says Queen picked her up to hang out with Despot. Micah Holsenbake was also in the vehicle. Queen told them he had to pick something up, and Wholesome Bake started freaking out, Farmer said, eventually jumping out of the car while it was moving. Farmer says Queen then pulled into an orchard, told her to get out, and pointed an assault rifle at her head and questioned her about whether Despot was cheating on him. We also heard yesterday from Casey Hardy, the woman who heard Wholesome Bake screaming for help and called 911 the night of the orchard incident. She says last week she found a half-empty box of empty bullet casings inside her locked gate, adding she thinks she's being threatened for her intention to testify. The trial is expected to last about a month, but will be on hiatus next week for spring break.
17 News is your local election headquarters, and county supervisors yesterday took up the issue of whether to renew Kern County's $224,000 contract with Dominion Voting Systems, as some expressed concern over voter fraud in the upcoming elections. Kern County's contract with Dominion is up for renewal and must be resolved one way or another before the June primary. At this juncture, Kern County Auditor Controller County Clerk Mary Bedard told the board there's really no option but to renew the Dominion contract.
We wouldn't be able to conduct the elections in 2022. This is the equipment we have. We need the licensing.
And in the end, that's what the board voted to do, unanimously, 5-0. But not without hearing from a procession of speakers urging the board to reject the Dominion system.
There's a branch of the military that's the Q team. They caught everything live as the corruption happened 2020 and before. This is how elections have been stolen worldwide for quite some time, but it's been caught by the Q team. I saw it. I saw the evidence.
There were thorough investigations. Former Attorney General William Barr had stated in 2020 that both the DOJ and the FBI had looked into these charges. The Department of Homeland Security has also looked into the issues, and they did not find any substantive substantation to the charges. Despite all the criticism, Dominion Voting Systems have been approved for one more year. Not without controversy, though. Perhaps not without controversy next time.
It was election night last night in Fresno and Tulare counties, and 6 candidates set out to fill the seat left open by former GOP Congressman Devin Nunes. With 100% of precincts reporting, no candidate has 50% of the vote, so the top 2 will face off June 7th in the primary. Republican Connie Conway and Democrat Eric Garcia are the top 2 vote getters. The winner will only serve until November, when a new map for the 22nd Congressional District will change the political landscape. From our 17 News follow-up file now, still no words on the whereabouts of a 9-year-old boy who went missing in the Kern River over the weekend. Officials say a group of kids were in the water Saturday afternoon near the Hog Eye Gulch area in Keysville. According to search and rescue teams, there was an adult supervising the kids, but one of the boys slipped and fell and was swept away.
There was one adult that was on scene at the moment that it happened. The parents were nearby, and by the time the parents were notified and 911 was called, it was about 20 minutes later. But all we can say going forward is make sure that you're putting multiple adults out there with children, even if they're just wetting their feet. Again, the river's just so deceiving, and it's unfortunate, it's heartbreaking to see anyone of any age go missing or drown in that river. It's just sad.
Search and rescue teams along with Kern County Fire Department continued their search yesterday.
In your 17 Crime Watch, Bakersfield police are investigating a late afternoon bank robbery yesterday. Police say a man walked into Strata Credit Union on Panama Lane near South 8th Street just after 4:30. He handed one of the tellers a note demanding money and then took off. BPD says it's unknown how much money was stolen. Anyone with information is asked to call police at 327-7111.
Last week's killing of a teenage boy and the recent shooting outside the Valley Plaza Mall were part of the discussion at the Safe Streets Partnership meeting. Every month, members of the Bakersfield Police Department meet with local community groups to talk about ways to reduce violence on our streets, with a particular emphasis on gang violence. Pastor Manuel Carrizales has been with the group since it was formed 13 years ago and has comforted countless families who've lost loved ones to violence. He says it's important for parents to be involved in their children's lives.
We have to continue to educate our kids, educate them, to encourage them, use them as stepping stones in a sense of, you know what, you can don't quit, don't give up, but continue to reach for greatness and go for the goal.
The next Safe Streets Partnership meeting is May 3rd at 5:30 p.m. at Seventh-day Adventist Church on 3rd Street.
Stories now from around the state, and Smart & Final has agreed to pay $175,000 in penalties after the state accused it of price gouging in the pricing of eggs at its stores across the state. Attorney General Rob Bonta says the chain increased prices by more than 10 to 25% on about 100,000 cartons of eggs from March to June 2020. Bonta says this should serve as a warning to other sellers against violating California's price gouging laws.
From gas prices and groceries to the cost of housing, Californians' budgets are being stretched in ways that create real stress at the kitchen table. And that is only made worse when corporations try to illegally pad their pockets.
Bonta encourages anyone with a price gouging complaint to report it to the AG office.
Time now is 5:36. A spike in crime in Southern California is being linked to international burglary rings. Investigators are calling it crime tourism. They say the crooks apply for visas online, then typically fly into Los Angeles and look for houses to target. One homeowner in Ventura County says he came face to face with a burglar inside his home with his hands full of electronics and jewelry. Crazy.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.